Wilson, who's going to be joining us together with Alexei, also known as Sarutobi, and it's going to be a really, really exciting evening. So, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. Everyone's so excited. I'm pumped up. Like, we can't wait for for everything's going to be happening tonight. So, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Well, thanks so much for having us here. This is Ari. I'm the founder and CEO at BIGTIME Studios, and previously I was the founder and CEO at Decentraland.
Awesome.
I'm here with Doug. Doug, are you here with us? Hey, I'm not sure if he's joined already. Okay, I see him in the channel.
Yeah, Doug is here. Doug, are you there?
Hey guys, I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm just getting a little bit of
Doug, you
feedback
seem to
here.
be muted,
One
or
second.
not muted, but your voice is not coming out.
Yeah, we hear you, Doug. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I couldn't hear
Is that
anything
better?
at all
Can you
there
guys
with
hear
the
me?
music.
Yeah, sorry about that. Doug.
Okay.
And you were not muted in
Thanks.
here as well, so I was just
So
getting like
sorry, I
endless
apologize. I missed
you looping
I missed
and
some of the
music.
introductory stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like Doug, just tell us about yourself and how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, it's a
John, I
little
think
early
you have
here.
to mute
I'm
yourself
out
here
in
in Google Meet.
Colorado. Is where I live. I'm the director of operations here at Big Time Studios, and yeah, I've been working in games for quite a while. A lot of sometimes when I talk about some of my earlier games I worked on, it seems like there's been a lot of time that's passed, so not everybody always recognizes them. But for those Ultima Online fans out there, Command and Conquer, those were some of my big products I had. I was fortunate enough to get to work on, and yeah, just a huge gamer and excited to be here today.
Awesome. Like Sarah will be like man, like thanks for fixing everything up for us. Like I've never been excited about a game like this, but then like it's good to have everyone here. It's good that everyone's on time, everyone's excited for it. Like Sarah Toby, why don't you get started with it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, me myself, I've been having a great look at the Big Time project, and I just really, obviously, I'd love to hear your kind of elevator pitch for the project.
Sure, I'll take it. So, in short, we want to make NFTs an integral part of the video game industry. So, initially, we built the technology to remove a lot of the barriers to entry that games with crypto assets have, such as the requirement to create your own wallet and manage it, to be the custodian of your assets and risk losing them all, and also being priced out by network fees. And also, we're building the first AAA game to showcase this technology. Ultimately, we're looking to work with other PC gaming studios and help them do the same and introduce NFTs to their game economies. And it all goes back to our experience with what we call the first generation of blockchain games. We can sense that there is a lot of excitement about their potential, but honestly, we haven't seen any of these games that are just as fun to play, such as other games that you find on Steam or the Epic Game Store. So we're here to change that.
I mean, yeah, dude. Like, I agree. Like a hundred percent. Just seeing like the amount of like interest in games that are still in development. I think like yeah, Big Time is one of the games that I personally am looking forward to. I mean, leading to the next question. So I see that you have an all-star lineup on your team. Like, can you tell us more about how the project like came together? How did such big names in the industry like end up all together in one project, basically?
Sure. So the short answer is that we mixed our experience with NFTs with the experience that only a very veteran team of gaming experts that has shaped multiple games can bring to the table. So I was the founder of Decentraland. I've been in the blockchain gaming space since it was born, basically. And I also got to organize one of the first conferences regarding blockchain gaming called Nifty.
Mm-hmm.
So through this experience, I was able to learn what could be the potential for this, but also what are the things that were challenging players and developers. So as we launched Decentraland over a year ago and decentralized the project, I transitioned to an advisory position. So around that time, Thor, who is my co-founder here at Decentraland and our chief of product, who was working with us back at Decentraland, realized that we wanted to keep building in this space and take all the learnings from developing Decentraland to build something new. So the first step was really building a base layer technology to remove all the friction involved in most blockchain games. And we got some people that were working with us on Decentraland to join us, and a lot of people that have previously worked with Thor back at EA, such as Doug, and people that were working together at Fortnite many years ago to join us behind this very powerful idea of transforming game economies by way of introducing NFTs. With regards to how we chose to build a game, the reality is that initially we wanted to build a platform, but then we realized that most game studios, even though they are very curious about crypto technology, they're all still waiting for a crypto native company to launch a high quality game and see that it has real traction and be able to prove that NFTs make sense from a business standpoint. And we saw that as the first milestone to hit before we would be able to become ourselves a platform and start helping other companies to create blockchain games. So that's a little bit of the background and how this idea came together.
All right. Thanks for that. Yeah. I mean, it's a really good. I mean, it's a really good team. Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen anyone come up with this such of a magnitude of an event. But then, like, before we move on, like, we're just having some audio problems. I think Falcon is muted in Discord. Could you double check on that? Also, you, Ari.
Okay, can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too. Let me just ask the guys in
Yep.
the Discord.
Okay.
Can you guys hear us?
Okay.
Can you hear us now? So, can you hear me? Can you hear John Sedano? And you can hear Ari and you can hear Falcon, right? Okay, yeah, that's great. Like, thanks, guys. Like, thank you for bearing with us. Relatively, we were just talking about how important having a really good team and like how this big of a team like came together and you know like coming up with a game like Big Time. So you don't have to worry, everyone who's here. There's gonna be a re-airing. We're gonna be reposting the podcast on the YGG official YouTube. So we're still early in that. So don't worry. Don't worry. We got you guys. We got you. But then, as you may know, like the team, it's crazy. Like if you go to bigtime.gg and you check out the team that's making it, so we're talking about Fortnite, like Years of War, we have Call of Duty, the biggest games, guys. So that's basically it, and we're gonna be going back to that in a few before we move on to the next question. So I myself, I'm a huge fan of the aesthetic of the game. Like in my opinion, it's one of the best like blockchain games that's about to happen. So based on a Medium article that you released, I've heard about your art team's guiding principle, like timeless, iconic, mysterious, and economical. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, I can probably take that one. And first, let me just say that we have a fantastic, as you indicated, kind of team all around. But art especially is one of my favorite things. As we have our weekly meetings and we get a chance to see some of the concept work and things that people are doing, I find myself leaning into the monitor, wanting to absorb it all. We have a fantastic art team, and we're really excited about the stuff that they're putting together. You mentioned time, and I'm a little hesitant. It is a guiding principle for our art team, And for anybody who hasn't seen that Medium post that you referred to, check it out. We kind of unpack at a high level how time kind of guides the art. But the hesitancy that I have in trying to unpack it is just that I don't, I'm not kind of in that trench on the art side on a daily basis. So I don't want to do a disservice to how it really guides the practical application of their work from day to day. But what I can say is that I think as gamers, while there's games that are out there that certainly have such great kind of core mechanics that they can kind of get a free pass on art and maybe just do the bare minimum. I think we know that when games do have like a captivating art style, that's what pulls you in. It makes you want to be immersed in that world, to spend time there. I know for me, I love games where even if sometimes the mission is kind of pushing you forward, you want to stop and just look around because you're like, guys, have you seen this? Like, this is amazing, and you want to kind of turn off the HUD and find the perfect like vista or capture some action shot in combat or something, and post a screenshot and share it with your buddies. And so that's really the type of art style. I mean, our that's the game that we want to make with our art in Big Time, and what we're hoping to capture. You know, something that just makes you want to stop and just go, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, like totally agree, man. Like there's always gonna be like this thing about games where you get stuck in it. And like what better way to get stuck in a blockchain game but then like have everything perfect, have to have everything like worked for by an art team who's experienced, and they know what they're doing. And I mean just from the teasers, from the screenshots, and just generically like everything that Big Time's putting out aesthetically, I mean it's definitely like, I mean it's on point. It's on point. So yeah, I think Alexei has a question for us. Like, Sarutobi, are you there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go to kind of get a bit of a technical question here. I know that you guys have obviously decided to go with Ethereum. How are you guys going to deal with gas fees? And do you think that you'll ever consider any L2 scaling solutions in the future?
Sure, good question, and we get that question a lot. So to explain the rationale of what we built, I wanted to say that we chose to stay in Ethereum because that's where we see that most applications for NFTs are going to be present. And I'm talking about applications to fractionalize your NFTs, lending markets, and other marketplaces where NFTs become valuable. Most of those are probably going to remain on Ethereum. So we wanted first and foremost to keep the items being governed by Ethereum smart contracts. In terms of how we're going to tackle the scalability problem, we thought of a solution that would primarily tackle the user experience problem, meaning how can we give our users the best experience? And that's why instead of just going with the approach that most games are going with, which is basically using a sidechain with the same MetaMask or other wallets that you use on Ethereum, we chose to do something different. We're basically creating a system that solves user experience from end to end by way of providing users hosted wallets, by taking care of the assets of the asset custody on their behalf, and by taking most transactions off chain in such a way that gas fees just wouldn't be an issue at all. Ultimately, this system, even though it requires people to trust our company, it allows the players to get all the benefits from NFTs, such as their provable scarcity, their ability to transfer them and use them in external applications, but without any of the pain. We're also having a bit of a wait and see approach, where we're going with this approach initially, but if other layer 2 technologies mature, we would just be ready to adopt them. We just don't want to be the first, because back at Decentraland, we actually were some of the first users of Matic, which is what a lot of other projects are using these days, and I'm very happy for their growth. But we just don't want to be in a position again where we are doing the R&D, because that gets in the middle of product development and will just slow down our time to market.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, just leading on from that, I mean, you mentioned their kind of interoperability and obviously kind of, the composability of NFTs and the way that you can use them in different games and experiences is obviously one of the kind of key benefits of NFTs. Is that something that you see happening with big time NFTs? Do you think they're going to be able to be utilized in other games and platforms or Decentraland even?
Yeah, absolutely. So just by design, people should be able to do that. What I see happening the most, at least in the short term, is people's ability to realize the financial value of NFTs. Meaning, NFTs are now assets that have similar properties to those that in financial markets. And by this I mean, because you can take the item away from the platform, you can trade it or auction it in third-party marketplaces. That's definitely going to happen. Also, I'm seeing a lot of lending markets that are going to start accepting NFTs as collateral to borrow against. That's definitely going to happen with big time NFTs, particularly those that are more expensive. So, let's say you have an NFT that is worth $1,000. Instead of just sitting on it, you may want to lend against it and even take the loan that you obtain back to DeFi and get some yield on it. But of course, these are perhaps the most advanced use cases. And when you think about the regular player in the gaming world, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking to have a game that is fun, and to some extent, they're going to start learning about these new properties that in-game assets that are backed by blockchain technology have, such as the ability to trade them and mostly the ability to trade them with others, which is something that has been happening in MMOs for decades. But now we give them a platform to do it in a way that is basically accepted instead of marginalized, as it's always been the case. So for those people, they can just keep the NFTs inside of the platform. But if you're an advanced user, you can take it to your cold wallet. You can use it in third-party platforms. And with regards to NFTs being used across several games, that's certainly the long-term vision, but I think it's a much harder problem because it requires coordination from many different game studios sometimes, which are competitors. So there needs to be a really good reason for different games to want to spend the money and time to adopt an asset from a different game. One very good reason to do so would be co-marketing. We see a lot of companies, particularly in the blockchain space, collaborating for co-marketing purposes. And one way to do so would be to, for example, incentivize the players from game A to go to game B by giving them some sort of special discount or giveaway if they happen to have an item from game A. I don't know if that's clear enough, but basically you can get two different game developers to collaborate and help each other bring games from their games to the other and vice versa. And you can tag the players that you want to target for that campaign based on their ownership of a specific item.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. I suppose kind of what I was slightly more specifically it's something that I've noticed happening more and more and more is that like you might have like a spaceship from one game that's like exactly the same NFT is also the same NFT in another game, and it kind of brings those communities together with a sort of shared sense of value, and it kind of gels communities together, which is an interesting thing to see. In comparison to say, the more competitive mindset that you might have seen in the past, I think.
Yeah, totally. I see those type of use cases will happen. But of course, the more coordination it requires, the harder it is that they will take place. But there are other types of use cases that have less friction. For example, wearable items. we have now a lot of metaverse-like or multiplayer social games that have NFTs, and allowing the wearables from one game to function in the other is a bit of a no-brainer.
I mean, what I pick up from this is like the only thing that's going on in my head, like why I imagine all these stuff that we're talking about, is like Ready Player One comes to life. That's what I hear, man. I mean, it's crazy. Like, dude, yeah. I'm even more like hyped up about the game. So basically, I have another question, guys. So you guys know that YGG is a play to earn blockchain guild. So it might be early on asking it, but in what ways could our community like earn from playing it?
Cool. There's a bit of an audio problem, but I think I understood your question, meaning how can the YGG community participate in big time and earn while playing?
Yes, exactly.
So play to earn is an integral component of the game that we're building. We actually designed the game in such a way that earning NFTs would make a lot of sense, and that's why we chose an action RPG sort of game. It's basically a co-op game where you team up in teams of up to 6 people and go into dungeons, which are basically different levels that are taking place in different historic moments. And in them, you get to battle with mobs or monsters. And by completing the dungeons, you get the chance to earn wearable or cosmetic items, which are NFTs. So play to earn is basically part of the core game loop of the game. So just by playing the game, you're going to get the chance of earning items that can afterwards be traded in the marketplace. Some of the items may become collectibles, and you may want to hold on to them and trade them in the future, therefore making money. So I would say that that's the main way in which people can make money while playing the game.
All right, like awesome. Like I really hope that we got a lot of the questions about from the community about that aspect of it. Like maybe like a good follow-up question to that would be is there a like hypothetically is there going to be a scholarship program? Is there going to be support for some sort of scholarship program like what YGG does with Axie Infinity?
So YGG has been supporting scholarship programs for Axie Infinity, which is a game that was developed by a third-party company. If we see our users demanding such use case, we would definitely develop the feature for it. But that sort of initiative definitely needs to come from the community itself. In principle, if there's demand, we're definitely going to cater to that. So yes.
All right, awesome. Like I mean, like Alexei, do you have like any thoughts on that? Like for the community, like is there anything that we might like wanna like I might be missing out on?
I suppose what in terms of like the value of the NFTs that people are going out and crafting and hunting down in the game, is it a case of like is the value going to come from like the challenge of crafting or finding that item? Is there going to be like a lot of time involved in finding or crafting particularly rare items?
Sure. You have to keep in mind that there needs to be a balanced economy. So certainly the items with higher rarity, the ones that are more difficult to obtain, would you will have a chance to earn them only after putting a significant amount of time into the game. Otherwise, you will get an economy that is just not very balanced. And also, there needs to be a healthy market in the secondary market. We have to be mindful that if you just issue too many items and there's no secondary demand from them, at some point in time, you're just not going to be able to sell them. We have quite a bit of experience from Decentraland on how to create a healthy market. So I think we have some of the right ideas, but those are things that we're going to see once the game comes online.
I mean, like, dude, that's really awesome, man. I mean, I really can't wait for that. But then, I mean, I have a question, like, with regards to NFTs and the gameplay. So, aside from that, the aspects that we discussed earlier, I've been hearing about this personal time machine concept in the game. So, from what I think I understand, it this works like your own personal, I don't know, like a home base where you could display your NFTs and your collectibles, your weapons, your loot. Maybe how does this exactly work? Can anyone visit your time machine and hang out? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, actually, I can answer that, and that's exactly it. I mean, this has been a feature that we've all been really excited about. I think it's well, it might not necessarily be on the same scale as the Oasis, as you referred to in Ready Player One, but it's really neat in the game to be able to have a place that's kind of your own. You know, sometimes we refer to the time machine as like a personal pocket universe, and what the idea is really is that you can kind of go into this area and really be able to kind of decorate it with artifacts that you've collected in game, and to your point, yes, bring your friends into it to be able to show off and share.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of a funny side story is I was my son had kind of walked past and caught a peek of early prototype of the time machine just the other day, and rightfully so, just got really excited about oh man, so can you go in here and can you do this, and was even asking if we were going to be building a whiteboard that he could strategize with his friends on how to take on different missions. And I'm not quite sure that that's a feature we're going to be implementing, but suffice it to say is that it's important for us to try to find social features and things that can help create that sense of in-game community where you can bring people in, show off some of these items, and really kind of make it your own. It's always been a cool feature of games when they're able to do that type of thing, and that's what we're after too.
I mean, I have a quick question, like Doug. Does your son have had a Discord? I might be able to like hit him up and like like get some like leaky stuff like early on in
Yeah,
the
no. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have mentioned that. No.
No, I mean that's perfect, dude. So basically, how I see
Yeah.
it is, you could have like your own personal like museum, like what you could do in Decentraland, basically. I mean it's really great stuff, like having a lot of features in the game. But then, like for me, I think the community would have like more questions about it, like having a lot of features. So instead of it being an online RPG game, like what other genres would this, like would Big Time like really fall under? Like what other genres specifically would you be hitting, like crossing out in your checklist?
Yeah, this is always kind of a tough question. I mean, we quite simply, I mean, we've defined ourselves as an action RPG, and I know that kind of can be a little bit loaded based on different interpretations games and whatnot have kind of done in that genre. But essentially, what we want is for Big Time to be accessible. We want you to be able to jump in with your friends. We've said before, kill monsters, get loot, gain levels, kill stronger, higher level monsters, get better loot, and kind of rinse and repeat a little bit. And the primary thing for us is really doing this all kind of in a co-op fashion that lets you utilize different weapons and skill sets that your party members kind of bring. That's always been, I know, just personally, one of whether it's a book or a TV show or a movie or especially a game. Whenever you've got people that bring unique skills, maybe the sniper that's got your back up on the top of a roof somewhere, and the other person setting the charge to open up to kind of breach a door or whatnot, and everybody's got kind of a role, and so what we want to do is make sure that party members are able to choose a role that they kind of gravitate to, that they can even switch between some of these different roles, and that they can kind of work cooperatively to fight through these kind of dungeon levels that Ari had mentioned. Sometimes we kind of talk in terms of Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft kind of as examples, just to try to create a mental picture that people can relate to. But of course, we're not aiming to compete directly with MMOs. We're trying to kind of fill that gap that exists between single player games and MMOs, and really give people that kind of ability to jump in, to be rewarded for the kind of the time and skill and whatnot that they've kind of put into the game, but not be something that one of your friends can't come alongside and join you if they haven't been grinding for 60 hours in the last week. So we want to make it really kind of accessible, that you can jump into, that you can get your friends together in there as well, and just have a good time and be challenged and have an enjoyable experience.
Good stuff, dude. Like good stuff. Like I could just it's all the ideas that that I'm gonna be doing like once the game is open. Like I'm gonna be going on quest like maybe for a good year, like day in day out. I don't really mind not sleeping like once Big Time is out, like for sure. And I'm pretty sure like the community would share the same sentiments with me as well. Like I mean like Sarutobi, do you have any thoughts like aside from like the gaming aspect of it, like on the more technical side?
I suppose in terms of very important for the YGG community is, I suppose you guys are going to be launching on desktop first. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. This is going to be a downloadable PC game first.
And how quickly do you think you'd be able to be launching on mobile devices?
So the problem with mobile, and you guys may have noticed that why is Axie Infinity only on test flight on iOS? I don't know if you ever wondered that. But the reality is that games that have transferable virtual goods, such as NFTs, have quite a big conflict with the terms of service of the iOS or Apple App Store. Because of that reason, it is that you don't see more NFT-enabled games going through mobile. So for us, it was really question of where do we have the most freedom to deliver a quality experience, and in such a way that we didn't incur in any risks of being deplatformed. So once those issues with the terms of service of mobile are cleared, or they change the rules, we would think more seriously about devoting company resources to launching a mobile experience. But the reality these days is that mobile does not have a place for video games that have NFTs, unless you're looking to operate on the sidelines, such as having your game be distributed via test flight or via direct download.
Yeah, and in terms of the PC version of the game, is that going to be a free-to-play game, or is there going to be a cost to the game?
Yeah, the game is in essence going to be free to play. Like most games, there might be an earlier than early access version that is only accessed with paid VIP passes. Actually, those are going to be put on sale on Binance, I think, on July 15th. And the idea there is that if you are an early supporter of the game and you buy one of these passes, you're going to get to experience the game first. Before others, and by virtue of doing so, you're also going to be able to have a greater chance to earn NFTs, because there are going to be less people inside of the game at that point in time. But once we launch more publicly, the game is not going to require you to pay in order to participate. We want the game to be as accessible as possible, and we learned that free to play is a much better model than the premium one for that.
I mean,
Yeah, thanks, guys. That's
yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, Alexei, that yeah, because it's actually been one of the top questions like in the community. Because like as we know, I mean, Axie Infinity technically it isn't free to play, but then the community has also grown. Like so, I'm imagining like a lot more players like worldwide getting into the game like even early on. So I mean, I have one more question like actually. I see this is more on the participation side and like wanting to be part of Big Time. Um if I see that on your website, Big Time Studios is actually like you guys are hiring. So I have two questions for you. Like first, what are you looking for in applicants who want to be part of Big Time Studios? And second, what would your advice be to those who aspire to be part of the team in general?
Oh, that's a really kind question because yes, we're definitely looking for a lot of people, and we have like 5 positions that are open currently. I would say we're looking for people who are first and foremost passionate about games. Gaming is a big part of our company culture. Not only have most people made a career in it, but I think it's important that you play games on in your free time, so that you are able to understand the product vision and really to be able to take part in the conversations that we have within the team day to day. Um, so if you're someone who has made a career in video games or aspires to do so, that's a good place to start. Also, we're a remote team, so we are hiring from most locations. Nowadays, because it's easier from a communication standpoint, most people are in the Americas. I mean, the entire North and South American continent. We have people in Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, US, Canada. So that allows us to have access to a lot more talent than we would if we had a established company in a certain location. Aside from that, we're looking for people that are fairly experienced, who have worked in at least a few companies in the past. And this is basically because it allows us to keep the team fairly small and keep the management to a minimum. I don't know, Doug, if you have anything else to add to this answer.
Yeah, just really to kind of echo what you said. I mean, we kind of have a tagline there on our website that we're hiring the best of the best, and we've been really fortunate to be able to assemble the team that we have, and yeah, I would say that there's if you've got some of the experience that Ari mentioned and whatnot, and even if you feel like, gosh, it's like I'm really strong in this area, but maybe not so much in this. I mean, send in an application or resume. Let us know a little bit about yourself and what you've been working on. We'll be reviewing all those things as best as we can and continuing to assemble the team that we need to get this thing out. A part of that too, with the experience, as Ari was mentioning, helps us also make sure that we're kind of hitting the ground running. Sometimes I know personally, I've really enjoyed when I've worked on, specifically back at EA, we had such large teams that we were able to create opportunities to bring on more junior people, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. I mean, if I can get somebody right out of school who's just starting, there's an energy and enthusiasm there that's really neat to be able to help kind of foster, and especially I've worked primarily in leading test departments on the quality assurance side. And that tends to be kind of a gateway for a lot of people to enter the game industry. Sometimes I think that to the extent that somehow maybe minimizes the technical skills or what's really required on the test side is unfortunate, because testing games is I could talk for hours just about the nuances of that and how technical it is, and But when you get these people who maybe find themselves in a department like a test team, but they really want to work in game design, or they've got some strong programming chops and want to go that route, being able to kind of mentor that and help get them connected with other people is always fantastic. And certainly as we continue to grow long term, we'll be looking for those opportunities to do that as well. Right now, though, our focus is to get the best quality product out that we can get as fast as we can get it out. And I'm sure you guys are anxious to see that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, we need to get we need to get people who have the experience Ari was referring to, that can jump in and just hit the ground running and start helping us make an awesome product.
Like, all right, like good stuff, man. Like, I totally agree.
John, can I just
go
jump in there for a second? I've got a question that just sort of came to my mind there a little bit. And you'd mentioned there being this kind of the co-op play with 6 players. Because obviously we have so many members, in terms of like kind of like more massive, like larger amounts of players, or like guild play, is there going to be any kind of ability to play with like very large numbers of players at any one time?
I think that's still kind of a question that we're looking to try to answer. I think whenever you've got large amounts of people participating in a single activity, trying to balance that and is always tough on the game design part. And so even right now, as we work through with 6 people, we talk about can we do we shrink this a little bit? Do we raise it up a little bit? And so 6 seems to be that kind of sweet spot we're finding right now with some of the classes that we have planned to create just enough kind of variance and yet to be able to create some levels and whatnot that would hopefully be challenging, but then not just be something that everyone would just blast through. But yeah, I guess anything's kind of on the table, but there hasn't been specific conversations that I've been aware of where we're talking about large masses of people. Though having social spaces and things where you can interact and kind of show off some of the NFTs, I mean that of course is we want to try to find the best way to capture those types of experiences, but probably not in a specific like say dungeon.
Or maybe an alternative to that could be like, is there some kind of maybe like guild tagging, so that like maybe you could kind of belong to a guild but then still operate in kind of teams of 6? Is that something that could be possible?
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I mean, we've talked before about guilds, and I think that's one of the best. I know the games that I play personally as well. It's great to be able to join a guild and to be able to kind of have that kind of community within a community that you're interacting with and things of that nature. So absolutely, we're going to be looking for ways to bring a guilds into whether it's a tag or something. I mean, I can't really speak to details that we haven't ironed out yet, but some way that represents guilds for sure.
That's awesome. We're very proud of being YGG, so we have to shout it in as many metaverses and games as possible,
Awesome.
Yeah, so I think we have time to move on to some questions from the community. So I have one really good question here, and it's from Stefanos from NAS Academy. And basically the idea is the concept of inventory, of like being your own bank in the game. So is there gonna be like a limit to the stuff or the NFTs that you can have in your possession in game? Like how does it work if, let's say, I'm a player who plays every day, and is there gonna be an advantage to someone who just plays like casually? Like, how does that work? Is it open to everyone? Is it friendly to grinders? Is it friendly to the whole community?
Doug, would you?
Yeah, well, I would say right now, I mean, I'll try my best to answer that question. Obviously, there's still a lot of details that that we're working out through the course of development, but trying to limit, if I understood that correctly, trying to limit the amount of NFTs that you could buy doesn't. I don't think that would be something that we would be. I'm sorry, I said buy, but trying to that you could earn in game, I don't think would be very advantageous in terms of we basically want to reward the time, the challenges that you accomplish in game, and to be able to say complete a challenge and have an opportunity to get an NFT, but then to find out that your inventory is somehow full. I mean, that would kind of create a negative moment of truth or negative experience that would not be something that we would be interested in trying to do. So I realize that in saying that, sometimes games have some technical limitations, vault size, things of that nature, that inventories and whatnot that game developers do to help manage hardware requirements and things on the back end to be able to provide these at scale. So I would say that if we ever found ourselves in a similar situation where somehow we were having to constrain inventory, we would want to be looking at all costs to find a way that we could exclude NFTs from that, because this is and NFTs and the collection of those is one of the main pillars of what we're building here, and so we would want people to be able to find and earn those as much as possible.
All right, awesome. Like, thanks for that. I hope we were able to answer that question from you, Stefanos. I have another question. So, do you foresee releasing on other systems? Like, I think we answered this earlier, but then how soon would you be able to cater to like the majority? Because a lot of players are playing on mobile. Like, is it something that will happen like within the beta, or is it something that you'll be doing on the main launch? Is it anytime soon?
There needs to be a change in the terms of service for the Apple App Store in order for us to be able to release the game. I mean, otherwise you would see all the other games on mobile as well. I mean, the ones that are using NFTs. But the reality is that the Apple App Store has a rule that says that virtual goods cannot be transferred. I mean, I assume this is because it goes against their business model, and that's why NFTs are so disruptive in a way. So the reality, unfortunately, is that it's we as game developers are not allowed to publish a game through the right venue, through the right channel to target the mobile gamers.
Yeah,
It's
And
not
you
a,
and you wouldn't
it's not.
in the interim.
Yeah, sorry.
In the oh, sorry, go.
No, and I'm saying like creating an iPhone version to hit a target of 10,000 players is just not worth the effort. You know, we're looking to have potentially millions over millions of players. So creating a mobile version with all the resources that that entails, it just cannot be justified if you're going to have a limit of 10,000 players, which is what you can get when you're releasing your game through test flight.
But in terms of the Android APK, like a side-loaded app directly downloads, that doesn't have that kind of 10,000 restriction. And I mean, amazingly, Axie is still managing to get hundreds of thousands of daily active users with a side-loading game. Is it something that for the Android? I know obviously the Apple side of things is quite a big thing to do, but would you guys have considered, doing the side-loading Android APK?
No, we think it's a bad experience, to be honest. Ideally, we would prefer to first launch on PC, have significant traction in that market, and then look into console actually before mobile, because it would be an experience that resembles a lot more the experience for desktop, which is a larger screen, before redesigning the game for it to be available on mobile, particularly if it is to be distributed through alternative in an alternative way, such as what you're mentioning. For the mainstream players, they are looking for an experience that works just as intended by the platform distributor. So we're not looking to take any shortcuts.
All right, awesome.
One kind of I've got to just slide in there with one other small question. With a lot of in terms of like monetizing this game for you guys, with a lot of games, like the marketplace activity is where a lot of value is generated. Are you guys going to be able to take a percentage cut of marketplace activity of big time NFTs to support you guys?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I think every exchange that has crypto assets tends to have a secondary fee for transactions among users. If you don't have that in place, actually, you're not only passing on a good revenue opportunity, you're also opening up the door for people to generate a lot of fake trading activity, which is what we see on a lot of side chains where there's supposedly millions over millions of volume because there's just no cost to trading the asset between two accounts that you control. So by having a small transaction fee on the secondary market, you're able to prevent all that fake activity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is important to see some of that value go back to the developers, right? I mean, you guys need to eat too as well.
I will hope so.
Yeah, I mean, so just to chime in on there, like just get back on the idea of like being launched on PC. Like I just wanted to add. I mean, there's also quite a different experience on being able to play RPG games on a PC. It's quite a different experience than having it on your mobile phone. And how I see the game is gonna be playing out. I think like especially with the team that's working on it, I really think it's gonna be worth it playing it on a PC. I wouldn't mind like sitting on my computer just like how I used to play like or Ragnarok online back in the days, like day in and day out. I think that's the kind of thing that a lot of people are looking to fill the void in blockchain games right now. I mean, I'm really optimistic about the project, and I'm really looking forward to trying it out like real soon. And it's really good stuff. So like if you guys there in the chat, if you have any more questions before we say goodbye to Ari and Doug, make sure to send it like right now. And I just wanted to add it in here. Like I want to thank everyone who's here right now in our AMA. Like shout out, of course, to all the YGG guild members who are here in the chat. And we also have like a lot of like special guests who are here. We have content creators, we have streamers, we even have guests from Metapurse who are content creators, and also Nas Daily who was in the chat who's really active. Like so, shout out to those guys. And like for me, like one way to be able to get in on the news, like on what's happening next, is of course to develop your own communities. So like I highly encourage like you guys to try to join the Big Time Discord, like be active there, and as well as you and your friends, you can start creating your communities. Like if I'm not mistaken, there's already even like a Big Time Philippines community that's going on now in Facebook, and like I'm pretty sure like in the next coming months, we will be hearing more news from these guys. And like what's a good way to what's a good way to get in touch with you? Like, what's the best social media channels where we could find updates on the fastest info, like, and everything? Like, yeah.
Sure. So our main channel, I would say, is Discord. We have over 33,000 people already in that Discord, and that started from basically no people about 5 weeks ago. So that channel is growing fast, and I encourage you all to join as well. The URL is discord.gg /bigtime. I see that there are a lot of people joining already as we speak. So that's certainly the best way. Also, you can drop your email address on our website, bigtime.gg, to receive regular updates and newsletters. And separately, we are starting our Twitter community. That's twitter.com/playbigtime2, number 2. And we're also on Instagram, instagram.com/playbigtime.
All right, so there you have it, guys. Like just one last quick question before we go. Is there like what are we gonna be looking out for in the next couple of months from you guys? Is there some dates that we have to watch out for? Like any news coming up? Like what's in store in the next couple of weeks and months for Big Time?
Sure. So I know you say a couple of months, but just to give people some context, we're looking to launch the game in early access in early next year, early 2022. The first milestone we're going to achieve in the next few weeks is our first NFT sale. That's going to take place on Binance.com. Binance, we may all know it. It's the largest crypto exchange in the world by number of users and volume. And they have just recently launched their NFT marketplace, which is great to see because when I started working on NFTs a few years ago, exchanges wouldn't even know what NFTs are, and now the largest crypto exchange is coming out with their own NFT product. So this is going to be really great for the exchange, for the space in terms of growth. So that's July 15th. Save the date. And other than that, you can look forward to having exciting updates through our blog post, which you can find on our website as well, bigtime.gg. And we're going to be publishing at least one piece every single week. So other than that, you can join our Discord community, as I mentioned, and we're going to be having some exciting community events, sometimes AMAs and even some giveaways in the near future.
All right, awesome. Like so, you heard it, guys. So you guys know what to do. If you want to get in on the game early, if you want to participate in the community, you know where to look for them. And I have actually just one last question. I've been saving this for last. Is there gonna be any private or public sale for a token that you will be putting out? Are you actually even gonna have a token? Is that a thing?
So basically, I'm going to answer this way. When you're building a new product, particularly when you're building in uncharted territory, you have to be good at picking your battles, meaning that any initiative that you launch within your company is going to consume resources and probably get you to be a bit worse off when it comes to solving your core problems. In our case, our core problem is launching this game early next year. And in my experience, having launched a token for Decentraland, Mana, that's actually something that will take away the majority of my time because you suddenly have to deal with thousands over thousands of people that have bought into the token and want to have a constant line of communication with you, and it's overall very distractive for a new team. So I believe that once we have launched our product and once we have achieved a significant amount of product market fit and have already been able to make other companies successful through our technology in introducing NFTs to their game, at that point in time, we may consider launching a token, but it's not something that's going to happen anytime in the near future.
All right, awesome. Like, thanks for that, Ari. I mean, I think on my end, I'm good. I think we did quite a bit of an overtime, like right here. But then, like, I really don't blame it. Like everyone, it's been a great chat with you guys. Sarutobi, do you have I believe you have some more questions over there?
Oh no, I'm okay. I think I really appreciate you guys going over time, and thank you guys for coming on and having the AMA, and thank you for everyone who's come and listened to the stream. And yeah, I think this is definitely a project to keep an eye on, and just wait. We'll be waiting to see the YGG tags appearing in Big Time.
Right. Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot, guys, for putting this event together. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks everyone who's listening in for tuning in. It was great.
All right, awesome.
Thanks guys.
Like, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys
Bye.
soon. Good luck. Bye.
See ya. Thanks.
See ya. So, guys, everyone else who's still here in the chat. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who participated. Like we're gonna be sharing with you like a lot of information that we will be getting in the future about Big Time. If like if we're gonna be, I'm gonna be personally active in the Big Time text channel. I'd want to like I want to keep an eye out for this game, and I also want to say like thank you for being patient with us. Like I understand that we had a couple of like technical difficulties like early on. Thank you to those who messaged us and let us know who told us about what was happening, that we didn't have audio, and also like I mean we didn't expect the rooms to get full as much. Like if there were, I believe that there were people who wanted still to join in, but we were capped at 99 people. So like that's something that I believe I want to push for next time. Like I want to request everyone to go in as early as possible so that everyone could like like hop in on time and get the best like information as soon as possible. And of course I'd like to give a shout out to Gray from Big Time, who's helped answer our questions. And yeah, basically YGG, you guys are really awesome, especially to those the members who are here from other guilds, for who are not from YGG yet. Like you guys are welcome to hang around. The guys are gonna be here, the community helpers are gonna be here to help you with anything that you need. And again, my name is John Sedano. I'm the community marketing manager of YGG, and with me earlier was Sarutobi. And we really appreciate like each and every one of you guys, and see you guys in game.